High above the clouds, where the wind whispered through ancient pines, lived a young man named Soren. Soren was a scholar, a dreamer, and a worrier. He climbed the steep stone steps of the mountain monastery, his back hunched under the weight of a dozen heavy leather-bound satchels. Each bag was stuffed with scrolls of half-finished plans, jars of old regrets, and heavy stones of what-ifs. He felt as though he were carrying the weight of the entire world on his narrow shoulders. At the summit, under the shade of a gnarled willow tree, sat Master Bodhi. He was a man who seemed carved from the mountain itself, still, silent, and radiating a profound sense of peace. He watched the young man approach with a gentle, knowing smile. Master Bodhi held nothing but a simple wooden staff, yet he looked far more powerful than the burdened scholar. Soren collapsed at the master's feet, the bags clattering loudly against the stone floor. "Master," Soren panted, his voice trembling with exhaustion, "I have traveled across the valleys to seek your wisdom. My mind is a storm of thoughts, my heart is heavy with choices, and I feel I have no room left for anything new. Tell me, how can I find the peace you possess? How can I learn the secrets of the universe when I am already so full of everything else?" Master Bodhi remained silent for a long moment, then stood up slowly. "First," Master Bodhi said softly, "we shall have some tea." He moved with the grace of flowing water, gathering dry twigs and lighting a small, crackling fire. He placed a blackened iron kettle over the flames. Soren watched impatiently, his fingers drumming against his satchels. He wanted answers, not a ceremony. He wanted to fill his mind with more knowledge, yet he complained of being too full. Master Bodhi simply focused on the dancing orange flames. When the water began to whistle, Master Bodhi fetched 2 ceramic cups. He placed one in front of Soren and held the kettle high. He began to pour. The golden liquid steamed as it hit the bottom of the cup. Soren watched the cup fill up to the brim, but the master did not stop pouring. The tea began to overflow, spilling over the sides, splashing onto the stone floor, and soaking Soren's sleeves. "Stop!" Soren cried out, pulling his hands away from the hot liquid. "It is overfull. No more will go in. Can't you see that the cup can no longer hold the tea?" He looked at his wet sleeves and then at the master, wondering if the old man had lost his senses. The tea continued to puddle around his boots, a waste of a perfectly good brew. Master Bodhi set the kettle down and looked Soren directly in the eye. The silence that followed was deeper than the valley below. "Like this cup," Bodhi said, his voice firm yet kind, "you are overflowing with your own notions, your own sorrows, and your own baggage. How can I show you the path of wisdom unless you first empty your cup? You seek to add more when there is no space to hold it." Soren looked at his many bags, then back at the master. He reached into his heaviest satchel and pulled out a jagged black stone, a worry he had carried for years. Following the master's lead, he walked to the edge of the great cliff. The mist swirled below like a sea of white wool. With a deep breath, Soren hurled the stone into the abyss. He felt a tiny spark of lightness in his chest. One by one, Soren emptied his bags. He let go of the scrolls of old arguments. He dumped out the jars of what-if scenarios. As each item fell into the mist, Soren's posture straightened. The lines of tension on his face began to melt away. He closed his eyes and felt the cool mountain air filling his lungs, really filling them for the first time in years. The wind no longer felt like a burden. It felt like a song. Master Bodhi approached and placed a hand on the young man's shoulder. "The mind is a tool, Soren,"
not a storage room. When you empty your mind of the past and the future, you leave room for the only thing that matters, the present. Soren smiled, picked up the single empty teacup, and held it out. This time, when the master poured, the tea stayed within, warm and perfectly still.